It has many different names, and it wants to kill you. The Wind Cave is extremely dangerous because it's deep, long, and icy. Today's story is about a couple who went on an adventure in the Wind Cave, but became trapped inside with extreme conditions, waiting for the rescue service to arrive. The Wind Cave has different names, including Darby Ice Cave, Fossil Mountain, and many others. It can be found in the Wind Cave National Park, located in the southwest part of South Dakota. The park was founded in 1903 and includes a large nature reserve with a cave system of 154 miles in length, the third longest cave system in the United States. Because of its length, it requires a great effort to journey through. Although there's a reasonably detailed map and survey of the cave, the surveyor that initially explored and mapped the cave did not release the map to limit adventures in the cave, especially for those adventurers that have limited experience in cave exploring, hiking, and rappelling. The cave is only advisable for experienced adventurers and cave explorers. Most of the time when this cave is being visited, there is often a need for rescue due to one challenge or another. This is because the cave itself is challenging in all its descriptions. The frequent need for a rescue could likely have been avoided if those adventurers strategized well and complied with instructions given to them. The paths within the cave are subtle, and you may not easily find them. There are two very similar paths that are almost unrecognizable, and you have to crawl through them. Only those who have visited the place earlier can easily find them. There are some other intricate points where the right path is not visible, and you can easily get lost if you're not there with a leader who is familiar with this cave. Once you enter the cave, there is no going back until you go through the hurdles within the cave to the base. You don't want to start finding a way by yourself in a very cold cave that can cause you hypothermia if you can't find your way out on time. Only a rescue team can help you out of the cave by then. The cave's trailhead begins at about 7,060 feet in altitude, and you'll take a stroll of about 1,400 feet to get to the base entrance to the cave. Walking upward to the entrance of the cave is another climb of 400 feet, and Windy Squeeze is almost 500 feet away from the huge entrance. You'll have to crawl on your hands and knees at a point, and you'll go through a distance of 700 feet from Windy Squeeze to the fastened rope for you to climb upward for another 20 feet. Make sure you leave behind a short note on this rope stating that no one should remove the rope unless they want you dead. An example of such a note is, "Please do not take away this rope, or else everyone in here will die. Cave expedition in progress." On average, what causes the need for rescue has always been when a caver gets stuck at the base, when you didn't affix a rope on the previous climb, or it was removed while you were inside the cave. Another thing that causes adventurers to get stuck at the end is when the exit is blocked by ice. The cave's name, Wind Cave, was derived from the wind that comes out of all its openings. Air constantly comes in and out of the passages of the Wind Cave, which people refer to as breathing. This creates a balance between the air pressure within and outside the cave. There is a flow of air into the cave whenever the air pressure outside is greater than that inside. This raises the pressure within the cave to balance with the one outside. On the other hand, air will flow out of the cave whenever the air pressure within the cave becomes greater than the one outside. This lowers the air pressure inside the cave. Huge caves that have fewer openings, like Wind Cave, tend to breathe more than smaller caves that have more openings. At 7 a.m. Saturday, August 12, 2018, a couple with experience in climbing, Spencer Christensen, 27 years old, and Jessica Christensen, 24 years old, began an adventure to Wind Cave in a bid to celebrate Spencer's birthday. They left behind their 1-year-old baby, Aurora, with their grandmother. Spencer and Jessica both carried out 3 weeks of research on the cave, after which they believed the information they'd gotten about it would be sufficient for their adventure. On getting to the entrance of the cave, they dressed up in their gear, having their lights switched on. Fully ready, they entered the high and tight cave. The cave was really cold as a result of the ice that wrapped up the entire wall of the cave. The ice sparkled with the reflection of the couple's headlights. It was so magnificent. They spent several hours ascending the rocks. Spencer and Jessica had to squeeze themselves to enter some passageways because of the extreme tightness. They dove through the glacial water before they realized that there was no exit out of the cave. This was the beginning of their plight within the icy cave. Spencer stated, "The first time we realized we were in trouble was when we were in a deep, dark part of the cave following a river, and the river ended in this circular room with no way out. We backtracked and tried to find anywhere we could get through, looking for wind coming from other tunnels, but saw there was nowhere we could go. Later in the night, they became soaked and cold, but then they saw a rope hanging down from the roof of the cave. Hope was restored to them, but they realized that their hands and legs were already stiffened, and their entire bodies almost lost sensation because of the impact of the ice on them. Because they were out of strength, coupled with a lack of warmth, they could not climb the rope. They were drained and hungry, so they had to take some rest. They had to burn waste to keep themselves warm. They also ate some food left in their bags to regain their strength. After eating and getting some warmth, they tried climbing the rope over and over again, all to no avail. The more they tried climbing, the more they were soaked by the ice impact, and the colder they became. How could they have received assistance from outside the cave when no one was aware of their plight inside? No means of communicating with people outside except that they were wise enough to make a plan for rescue before leaving home. The couple told the grandma, Jessica's mom, to place a phone call to the search and rescue team if they did not return after 24 hours. The anticipated help from the search and rescue team came at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday. Teton County Sheriff's Deputy Matt Carr was part of the rescue team and said that they make around 10 rescues in the caves every year. He stated, "The cave is a series of large caverns and tight crawls, and there are areas where you are literally on your hands and toes trying to squeeze through, and then that connects to some larger caverns as well. There's a lot of running water, ice cold water, running throughout there that you have to cross to get in." Jessica and Spencer tried to reroute, but they found none. While waiting, they started exercising their bodies. They jumped, squatted, and did all sorts of things that could keep them awake so they wouldn't lose body heat while sleeping. They made more fire with whatever they could get their hands on, including hats, gloves, a backpack, Spencer's knee brace, and Jessica's hair. The fire gave them more warmth, but the fire soon went out because they ran out of fuel. The rescue team had yet to arrive, but then they knew the only way out for them was to climb. So they decided to try again using a pulley. It started working out for them when Jessica climbed into a hole with the rope. She got hold of rock to pull herself up with it, but then the rock split and she fell. Thankfully, Spencer caught her. She could have died after falling on the rocks. Spencer decided to go first, and he was able to make it to the peak of the rope together with his wife. Unfortunately for them, the exit was blocked out by the ice. They were surprised that their only hope of survival was blocked out. They were flooded with thoughts of death and survival, thinking of leaving their 1-year-old baby without both parents. They descended from the height they had initially climbed. The rescue team managed to work their way towards Jessica and Spencer after smelling the smoke from burning their gear. Soon, Jessica and Spencer began to hear some sounds. It was people's voices they were hearing down in the cave. Hope was restored. They screamed out loud for those people to hear them. The rescue team came to them and found them at 11 p.m. on Sunday. They found them shivering and unable to move. Casey Best, a volunteer for search and rescue, said they spent 5 to 6 hours searching for them. They were found at a height of 25 feet within a tiny hole. One of the rescue teams climbed a rope to reach where they were, checked their condition, and fixed a rope for them to rappel out of the hole. They were rescued, still shivering and becoming hypothermic, but they were rescued just in time. They were trapped roughly 30 hours in the ice-cold cave. Jessica said in an interview, "It's really scary to think you're leaving a child with no parents and no way out. It's really cold, and it's really scary to face your death for sure. The scariest part was when Spencer was scared. I had total faith in him the whole time to get me out of there, but when I saw how scared he was, I knew it was the end for us. She concluded that the terrifying adventure had a positive impact on her and her husband. Although her husband said the adventure is something he will always remember, he stated, "You kind of get to the point where you say you kind of realize what's important and what's not. That comes after you escape, but when you get to that point, the things that you stressed about so much are usually tiny, pathetic things that don't even actually matter in the big scale." We would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, take a dive on the like button. Consider subscribing to our channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified when we come back with another exciting cave exploring story.